Hey leader, David Burkus here, organizational psychologist and author of 4 best-selling books on helping leaders and teams do their best work ever. And in this episode, we're going to talk about how to get better at receiving feedback. The single best way to grow as a leader is to lead and get feedback. Is to understand the things that you are doing wrong or the things that you could improve upon because your peers, because an executive coach, or because the people who work on your team are willing to give you that feedback. It's the single best thing you can do to grow as a leader. It's better than reading books or reading academic journal articles or attending workshops or listening to keynote speeches or TED Talks. And I say this as the author of books about academic research articles around management and leadership, who delivers workshops and keynote speeches and has given 3 TED Talks. So there's a reason right there to believe me when I say that the best way to improve is to lead and get feedback. But there's a problem that happens when you achieve a leadership role on a team. When you take the reins of a team and you become a leader and there's a power dynamic between you and the people you need feedback from, that feedback changes. And people have a tendency to minimize unpleasant messages. They may not want to actually give you that constructive criticism. You may get way more praise than you deserve because people are worried about the repercussions on them. They're worried about the potential retaliations, or they're worried that you just won't listen to them and hear them. So in this episode, we're going to talk about how to get better at receiving feedback so the very people who are going to help you grow as a leader and help your team improve as a team because of your leadership capacity, the very people who can help you can get through to you better and you can become a better leader. Let's get started. So the first way to get better at receiving feedback is to start with thank you. Start with appreciation. Don't get defensive. Don't explain or justify your behavior. Don't say anything other than thank you. If this person took a risk, if it was constructive criticism especially, they took a risk by giving you that feedback. And even if it's praise, they took time out of their lives to tell you something good. When you receive feedback from anyone, whether you accept or reject the feedback in the end, the very first thing you should say is thank you. Showing that appreciation helps people know that you are open to feedback, makes it more likely that you will get more in the future, and makes the remaining steps we have in receiving feedback run a whole lot more smoothly. So start with thank you. Now, the next step in the process is to restate what you just heard. Whether it's praise or constructive criticism, whatever type of feedback you get, restate what you just heard. You're doing this for 2 reasons. The first is that obviously you're checking for understanding. You're trying to make sure that you actually understood their feedback. You're trying to make sure that your own internal biases, your own lens of experiences isn't coloring their feedback the wrong way. You're trying to understand their perspective. You're trying to get the raw facts straight from them about what they observed and what they're asking you potentially to do. So you're checking for understanding. The other thing you're doing is you're helping that person feel heard. You're helping that person feel understood. If you just, yeah, got it, thank you for the feedback, and you're off and you're not doing any of these other steps, then you're not helping them feel heard. And how likely are they to give you feedback in the future? Not very. So restating what you just heard, not only does it check for understanding, it helps them feel heard because they were, and it makes it more likely that you're going to get more feedback in the future. Now, the third thing to do to get better at receiving feedback when feedback is coming to you is to state what you are going to change as a result of this feedback. Now, this doesn't have to be done right away. We'll talk about that in a second, but it does have to be done. You have to not only restate, check for understanding like we were just talking about, but you also have to mention how you're going to change, how you're actually going to apply said feedback. Otherwise, you're not helping that person feel heard, or you're not making it feel like their feedback mattered to you. You're not making them feel truly appreciated, even though you said thank you and you restated it. You're not making them feel like it was worth the effort, worth the risk of giving you constructive criticism, or even worth the time of giving you praise. So mention what you'll be changing as a result of it. Obviously, you're going to be changing a whole lot more if it's constructive criticism. Now, you may not be able to do this right away, as we talked about. You may be asking for feedback from the whole team, and so you want to check for understanding and then just say thank you and move on to get the next person so that you can collect all that feedback and really examine it. You may be getting it in a 360-degree format, so you're going to have to balance it out between the people on your team, maybe your peers or other team leaders, maybe senior management or an executive coach. You're going to have to balance all of that out. But you are at some point going to have to state what you're going to change as a result of that feedback. This is one of my biggest pet peeves, both at individual leaders and at the corporate level. If you ask employees, if you ask the people in your organization for feedback, you need to share the results of that feedback. And you need to share what's changing as a result of it. Even if it's nothing, right? Even if it's, I'm actually going to just keep doing what we're doing well and I don't need to course correct on anything, which, let's be honest, is going to be really rare, you still need to share the results of it. Because sharing the results, again, helps people feel like what they did mattered, helps people feel like giving you feedback is worthwhile, helps people feel like they should give you more feedback. And you as a leader should be looking to make those course corrections. Even if everything was great, even if people gave you pure just praise and stated what they loved about you and your leadership ability, then go back and talk about how you're going to do the things the team is already enjoying more. In fact, there's a whole discipline called appreciative inquiry that's dedicated to just that, improving people's performance through expressions of appreciation and looking to build upon strengths and make things better, right? So this isn't about whether or not you accept or reject the feedback. It isn't about whether or not the feedback was positive or negative. It's about proving that you take feedback to heart, even if you make no changes, by circling back with people and saying, this is the result of the time and the effort and the mental capacity that you gave me when you gave me that gift of feedback. So mention what you are going to change. And the very last step to getting better at receiving feedback is to seek out more feedback. And you're going to want to do this in two different ways. In those individual conversations, whether you know what you're going to change as a result or not, the last thing you're going to want to say, probably the second to last thing, because you're going to want to say thank you again, the second to last thing that you're going to want to say is it okay if I follow up with you in 3 months or 6 months? Is it okay if I follow up with you in a week or two if it's a smaller thing? But you're going to want to set a time to follow up and get more feedback from that person. And you're also going to want to be asking proactively for more feedback even beyond that time, right? This does a couple different things. First, you've committed to making a couple changes as a result of the feedback. And so now you're getting feedback on the changes, which is going to help you improve even faster. But the second thing it does is that it really reemphasizes the idea that you are open to feedback. It reemphasizes the idea that this person could come to you unsolicited and give you that feedback. And unsolicited feedback from the people that you care about, whose advice and whose perspective you care about to grow as a leader, is one of the most potent things that you can get in terms of feedback. Now, on the contrary, unsolicited advice from people you don't care about is virtually useless. You still have to say thank you though. But unsolicited advice from the people you just got feedback from is going to help you, because when it's unsolicited, it's, I noticed that this was so important that I wanted to circle back with you and give you even more feedback on it. So that's incredibly powerful, and you want to make sure you get more of it. Now, if you do all of these things, if you start with thank you, if you restate what you just heard, if you mention what you're going to change as a result, and you are serious about feedback, so you're seeking out more feedback, then you're going to start growing and improving almost immediately. But more importantly, the people who are speaking into your life and helping you grow are going to be giving you more feedback. It's a flywheel. It's a virtuous upward cycle of feedback, improvements in leadership, more feedback, and more improvements in leadership. And if you do these things and you get better at receiving feedback, you will not only lead better, you'll start doing your best work ever. You'll start having a team that is the best ever, because you will be the best leader ever. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And if you really liked it and you want to go deeper, then check out the resources we have for you and your team at davidburkus.com/resources. Guaranteed there's something in there that'll help you do your best work ever.